Welcome back for another episode of World 1-1 Podcast. I am your host, Larry the Nordic Beast Giver. With me is my co-host and partner in crime, Eddie the Magic Head Nestle Wonderball Chocolate Thunder with Wonder from Down Under, V.
Everybody, I'm happy and to be a proud owner of my jock straps. Yay! They actually came in and I'm so giddy to try them. So, my
Only
first
you.
pair.
Only you.
You know, it makes me want to lose weight. You know, get my stomach in shape. Because I was looking at them in the mirror. I'm just like, okay, it looks weird. It feels weird, but I'm just like, okay, I'm getting used to this. The booty might look nice. I hope for me so, but I look at my stomach and be like, I kind of need abs. Like I need to tone up. So the summer is right around the corner. So
What have you been playing?
I have been playing Pokemon Sun. Got done with my first trial, and now I'm about to go to the main island trial. About to do that. Getting a little bit more of Ghost Recon Wildlands done. I think I'm probably do 2 more parts of it, and then just get a review up ready to go. Because, like I said, rinse, repeat. It's a washing machine game. Going to return to Nier Ultima, and I feel like someone at Platinum used to work at Treasure, because it feels like the shooting segments, like they got like vertical 2D segments of shooting, and it feels like Ikaruga meets Platinum, and it's just like, ooh, this is weird. Like I just got straight Treasure vibes, but I kind of hate the fact that if you die in the first mission, you have to do that whole thing all over. It doesn't have no checkpoints. It doesn't save. So I'm just like, oh great, this is about to be a fun experience.
How lengthy is it, though, to go back and go through that, though? I mean, is it that horrible?
It's probably, you got to do another long boss fight. So you got to do that whole shooting segments, which is about 7 to 10 minutes. You can't skip none of the cutscenes. So when the cutscenes happen, you have to watch them. And then whatever part that you got to, it's another 45 minutes that you got to get back. So like the whole part where I was at to where I died was about maybe an hour and 15 minutes. And I had to redo it all over. So
okay, that's a little salty.
Yeah, so I got to do that. I bought some games from on the PSN from Golden Week. I finally got I Am Setsuna, and then I got some other games. But I haven't started them yet. I need to start them for the next 2 weeks for something very special coming soon. Anything else that I play on? No, I didn't play anything. Oh, besides the Blob 2 on my Xbox One. But other than that, that's all I've been playing. I am going to get it to Breath of the Wild, and I am going to get to Tokyo Mirage Session and Paper Mario Color Splash. I need to get to those games too, because it's some of the pieces that I want to write for them. So yeah, and Persona 5, I'm gonna get back to. I had to take a break from that to play some other stuff that I bought in the past. Like I still got to load up Dishonored 2. Well, I installed Dishonored 2, but I need to just like start it and try to get like through the first part.
Okay.
Other than that, that's all I have been playing.
Right on. I've actually not gotten to play much of any of this week.
Yeah, and I still Armor Croc.
Yes. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah, I forgot to because I didn't hook up my Wii U yet, but I am gonna buy it on my Wii U, and I'm gonna start that because I want to be ready. Yeah, but we'll talk about that later. I'm looking forward to it. And when you mentioned Armor Croc to me, Clay Fighter came in my mind. And I was going to say, I did try to do this. Me and my friend was going to enter a tournament at Blockbuster to fight in a Clay Fighter tournament challenge. And we literally rented Clay Fighter. And this is on the Super Nintendo, everybody, not the N64 version. We rented it on the Super Nintendo, the old version, and we practiced it. because I think Clay Fighter Tournament Edition, or it was like a new edition, was only a not Best Buy, was only a Blockbuster exclusive back in the
Mm-hmm.
day, and I was just like, oh my goodness! And we were so ready to go to it, but my friend's dad, never took us, so we never entered it in. But I was ready. I was ready to do that, dude.
Right on. Um, Not a whole lot of spare time floating around this week, just a bunch of social obligations and whatnot. Little bits of Mario Kart here and there when I've got 5 minutes, and when I've got longer periods of time. I've been trying to grind through the end of Mr. Shifty so I can write and review, because I won't write it unless I've actually finished it. But I'm telling you right now, the closer I get to the end of this game, the less I'm starting to like, or the less I'm liking it. It started off good. It just kept working its way down from there, just working my patience. And
Is it that the difficulty ramps up in a way?
the difficulty definitely ramps up. That by itself isn't the issue, though.
Okay.
The problem is that not only does the difficulty ramp up, but the longer it goes, the more it feels just like a grind to get through. Like it's losing its fun real quick.
Okay.
It's feeling very monotonous. That makes me sad, because I started out really liking it, but there's a distinct lack of variety in terms of what it asks you to do as you slog through like 18 levels made up of, 4 to 6 stages apiece. Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of content lengthwise, but fuck, there's no variety. It just drolls.
Is that Gears of War mentality, like the first 15 minutes on repeat to hook
Kind
you
of.
in? Okay.
Kinda, yeah. So
And that's kind of sad to hear, definitely for an indie game like that.
It's got some good ideas and some good mechanics. Even just some minor tweaks to the writing could have helped it too. The non-talking protagonist is kind of sad, because honestly, it puts all the dialogue on the one chick that's talking in your ear and the bad guy. And frankly, if they had split half of the dialogue between the chick talking in your ear and your character,
Yes.
it would have been much better. A little bit of banter would have gone a long ways. Instead, he just stands there and says nothing. And the characters just keep, talking about, oh, you've got nothing to say? Well, rah, 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 rah. I already know he doesn't talk. We don't need your commentary on it. He should have talked. He should have had some dialogue. It would have helped a lot.
Gotcha.
So, that aside, I think I touched Rocket League just a little bit. Probably no more than 15 minutes of it this week, sadly.
It's funny that you mentioned it. A customer came into my job yesterday and was talking about, trying to get his son to sports games. And he was just like, what's one of the best sports games that's out there? I was just like, right now it's Rocket League. He's like, Rocket League? I was like, yeah, it mixes car racing and soccer together. Wait, what? I was just like, yeah, it's like one of the most popular action sports games right now. That people are still playing this very day, and I think you and your son would definitely enjoy playing it. He's just like, well, we're not going to get it now. I was just like, I took out the case and I showed her. I was like, go on YouTube and look at it to get you an idea. And he was just like really impressed. He was just like, car racing and soccer? I'm like, yes. Well, like once you play and once you learn the mechanics, you'll probably be hooked on it.
Mm-hmm. It's hard not to love Rocket League. It's simple and dumb enough that anybody can do it and everybody will love it.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's all I got for this week. So in other news, variety of things are coming out as we get closer to E3. If anybody's been watching the Facebook page, I'm now convinced that somebody at Microsoft has been listening to me bitch for the last month, because this week they dropped about 19 minutes worth of new footage of Phantom Dust HD, along with commentary about some of the tweaks and updates and features, and talking a little bit about apparently what the hell took so bloody long.
Yeah. Like literally after we recorded, maybe 2 days? Like 2 or 3
that,
days?
Yeah. You and I were on show with on NGR with Corey, and we were talking about this, and it was pretty much the next fucking day that this thing drops. And I will say I thought it was interesting just to kind of listen to him talk about some of the I won't say problems, but challenges per se, of putting this thing together, because apparently they didn't have access to the original completed source code. So they basically had to take the game, take the last benchmark of raw source code, and like reverse engineer it in order to make it work, and kind of like rebuild from that last check mark to finished product of the game again.
Which is surprising to me that happened. I was just like, but it's your game. How did you lose the source code? Or how would you not be able to access it?
It was a different studio that did it originally. It's not the same studio that's doing the HD remaster.
Right, but wouldn't Microsoft have it somewhere in their home or something like that, in their company? Because I'm like,
I don't think it was Microsoft's either. It was a Japanese studio that did it.
But it's not a third-party title, though.
I think it was.
Really?
I'll have to look it up, but I'm fairly certain. But in any case, on top of that, though, they were saying that they did end up with access to almost all of the original assets in their uncompressed form, which is fantastic, because that means that a lot of what went into the original ended up being compressed for space, and here that's not the case, because there is so much more space on the disc that they don't have to cram it down to make it all fit, and it looks really good. Excuse me. It looks really, really good.
Okay, so Phantom Dust, the developer is Microsoft Game Studio. Publishers, Japan was Microsoft Game Studios. North America was Majesco Entertainment. So that's why I wonder. I'm just like, that is so weird.
Yeah. But yeah, check out the, like I said, there's a link to the YouTube video on the Facebook page. Check that out. Full of good stuff. Makes me all kinds of happy. Other minor tweaks to be able to get into like the multiplayer a little bit faster, right from the get-go. Some things that they're changing in order to make card balancing a little bit easier, which frankly I'm not exactly thrilled about, because that's one of the things I don't like about Hearthstone, is that they can go in and make tweaks to cards that you have in your decks, and suddenly shit doesn't work the way it did the last time you turned it on. Like, stop fucking changing shit from out from underneath me. You put it out, that's it. Leave it the fuck alone. That kind of thing with card games bothers the hell out of me.
Well, isn't it with the balance and stuff, because some cards might be overpowering, like, and they didn't think it would be overpowering when it first came out compared to bringing it back out now, and so to tweak that balance, they sometimes have to do that.
Learn how to counteract it and move on, or do a banned and restricted list. But quit changing cards.
Sometimes that's not possible. Well, they normally do that. But do they? No, they do that in competitions. But do they do that in? They don't do that in like electronic competitions, like Hearthstone, like you said. Like, there's not a
No,
card
there's
that
no
they could
banned
buy.
and restricted in Hearthstone because they keep changing everything.
But if we was playing like a real card battle, they normally could do. They would normally can ban that card because they can't change it. So they just outright ban that card for that tournament.
No, they won't ban it. Not for stuff like Hearthstone.
But if it was a real life card game,
Yeah, if it was a card game and you can't change it, then what, like with Magic, what they do is they will update the banned and restricted list. Some cards are completely banned from tournament play. Others are restricted to one per deck.
wow, because people might buy those many cards and play it as many times as they can.
Like with Magic, typically you're limited to like 4 of any one card to a deck aside from land cards. But if it's on the restricted list, you can only have 1 in your deck.
That's so weird. Well, no, that makes sense. Yeah, that does make sense because it is a
It
tournament,
keeps certain things from getting out of balance and prevents certain
like game of the
infinite
system.
loops.
Okay.
So, like I remember back in my high school days, I played a lot of Magic, and my sliver deck was particularly nasty because I had the infinite sliver combo in there that once I got 3 cards, specific 3 cards on the table, I had an infinite army all of a sudden. So,
Wow.
but yeah. So, it's like I said, I'm just happy that it's not dead and gone. And whoever was at Microsoft listening to me bitch for the last month, thank you. Moving forward, other exciting fucking news. It leaked and then it was released, which, that seems to be the order of everything these days.
Yep.
The other series that I was, myself and probably most everybody else was fairly convinced was dead. Holy shit, Darksiders 3 is actually happening. This makes me a happy clam.
I'm iffy about it.
Don't you naysay this.
I'm going to naysay it. And I'm naysaying it as more as I hope that there's different weapons that they could use. Because when I was watching the gameplay and I was seeing her animation with the whip, I was just like, this might get a little bit repetitive and boring. And maybe there's gonna be more weapons and more combos to use, but I was kind of like, and I know it was early alpha gameplay, so I don't want to. Hopefully, I'm not trying to. It seems like trying to judge it on that, but I was just like, if this is what the ideal of this game is, what I'm going to be getting, I just hope that more is coming. I really hope that when they actually do a real gameplay trailer, like, they finalize all the assets and everything, or the code and everything, that they show a lot to this game that you could do differently. Because I know they said they're using the Darksiders 2 engine to make this game. And
Well,
that's
they're using the engine's fine, but they are building up some different mechanics, which is clear as day going from 2 to 3. But it's kind of an odd time placement for a sequel because it actually takes place at the same time as Darksiders 2, just somewhere else. So 2 and 3 both take place after 1, but 2 and 3 take place at the same time as each other.
which is weird because when you beat the first Darksiders, all of the other horsemen are coming. So Death, Fury, and Strife. I think it's Strife. Those 3 are coming to get war. So if this is happening during Darksiders 2, then that ending for 1 should have never been shown or happened, because Death should be there and Strife should be there with Fury.
Well, from what I've seen, war is still incarcerated by the Charred Council,
Mm-hmm.
and it doesn't mean that the other horseman isn't there somewhere. It just means that this one is, off on her own, just like Death was off on his own for 2.
Yeah, but Death and War were doing it at the same time. Their games, yeah. Death and War game time, they both were doing it, but Death was somewhere else. So at the end of 1, like I said, those 3 in the clouds, they show those 3 coming towards War at the end of 1. So when Death finished his adventure, War had got captured. So Death should have joined Fury and Strife, and those 3 should have been heading towards War. And then, so Darksiders 3 should have started off with that.
I'm gonna have to replay it again.
Yeah,
but in any case.
Yeah, because if Fury is there and it's happening while Death is there, then that just messes up 1 altogether. That just messes up the whole timeline together. Because I'm just like, that doesn't work if that's the story. But yeah, in the trailer, Fury is there because she put her hand on War, looks at him, and then heads up to talk to the mountain thing.
Mm-hmm. But at this point, I don't much care other than beyond the fact it's getting made at least. I didn't think it was going to happen. So, hooray for that.
And I'm going to get it. There's no doubt about it. I'm going to get it. So.
Yeah. Other thing coming up. We talked just briefly about it a little bit ago. Continue to work to get a guest on the show for your guys' entertainment, and we've reached out, and I'm in the process of locking down details and dates with them. But the fine folks behind Armacrog, and their studio was actually born of the remnants of the crew that did the Neverhood and Skull Monkeys from back in the 90s and early 2000s, are going to be joining us likely in the next few weeks as we lock down some details and try and get everybody wrangled together and all on the same page. But that's something that's in the works as well. Mm-hmm. So we'll get to hear a lot more about the birthing of Armacrog and all things that went with it, and probably some history to go along with that as well, going back to Skull Monkeys and Neverhood. So that's another thing coming up. Eddie, give me other news. Throw me other interesting shit.
Well, it seems that we're getting into like E3 rumors right now. On the site Gamersplash, 2 new Metro games being developed by Retro Studios and Climax Studios. It is reported that, according to popular Nintendo...
You can take this report with all the salt in the world, by the way.
According to popular Nintendo YouTuber Super Metal Dave 64, 2 new Metro games are currently deep into development for Nintendo Switch, with at least one being highly likely to be shown at E3. Dave appeared on Spawncast Saturday to share this information. According to him, Retro Studios has been hard at work on a new 3D Metroid Prime game. He refers it to as Metroid Prime 4, as well as a new IP. This will line up with recent reports from Emily Rogers stating the studio has been developing a new title for over 3 years. Second, Dave also mentions that another studio, Climax Studio, is developing a new Metroid game, and it's probably not going to be a 2D Metroid. He says that while both projects could be shown off at E3 this year, the Climax Studio project is much more likely to be revealed. And then you guys can read down more. And he also, Super Metal Day 64, the Spawncast Live, you can watch the video on YouTube about that. And the reason why I'm going to take this definitely with a grain of salt, I actually said, I'll place this one right by the salt factory, like throw it in the salt materials, because Retro is not known for developing 2 games at once. Nintendo's not going to give them anything like that. They're working on their own IP. Even when they were hiring artists and hiring more people, their project was for their new IP. It was never for a Metroid game. Retro said the Prime series was done and finalized after Prime 3. And, definitely after Federation Force coming out, I don't think they're ready to go into a new Metroid game just yet. Now, not saying that Retro Studios is not making another Metroid game, but I don't think a Prime game or a Metroid game is going to come out from them. I think a Metroid game is going to come out, but from a different developer. Hopefully, depending on if Platinum does it, that's very doubtful at this point in time. I think Tecmo Kobe is going to probably get another chance at it. Because regardless of what you thought of Metroid Other M, I kind of would love to see that action and that speed of a Metroid game there again. Whether they mix in 2D with 3D, I think they're going to get a second chance and, actually learn from not mistakes, but learn from the problems that were in Other M that a lot of people had. I think they probably looked at a lot of criticism and took note of it and be like, we can make this one work and we can make it better.
I still don't think I want Platinum's hands on it, truthfully.
Well,
I like Platinum, but my problem is Platinum stuff is 50-50 hit or miss. Like,
yes.
There's no in between. When they're on, but when they're off, they're fucking off. And yeah. I don't like the odds of 50-50 with something as near and dear to me as this series.
Yeah. And I don't think Metroid, at Samus as a character, is too physical action based or stylized for Platinum.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Ninja Gaiden has that stylized, but I think Tecmo Kobe has got a better understanding developing the Metroid game, a Metroid game style. I think if they went 2D, like I said, I think Drinkbox would have been a better taker because of Guacamelee. But if Climax is working on a Metroid game, it'll probably be for 3DS. I don't think it'll be for Switch. I think they'll have a higher developer that has worked with Nintendo before, like in Japan, like taking notes and stuff. I think they probably will work better, or once again, with Tecmo Kobe.
Now, for what it's worth, like I said, take this shit with all the salt in the world,
mm-hmm.
but there could be some other niggling logic behind it too, being that Nintendo has not let through the likes of Tom Happ, as we went through a couple weeks ago, talking about and dealing with. But you're also not seeing any other real Metroidvania, indie style games sneaking onto the system right now either. And it could be that they're holding off just to make it that much more impactful when they do let the actual Metroid series onto the platform,
right,
or onto the system, so that people haven't already gotten their fill of the genre and drown out sales.
Right, and I think because we probably won't see that next Metroid until I would say next year. Mario Odyssey, like we got Zelda, but Mario
this
Odyssey
is a full slate, yeah.
Yeah, I think Mario Odyssey is gonna be the leading one, like after Arms and Splatoon, and after some other upcoming indie games like Xenoblade 2. Like Mario Odyssey is the one that's gonna be the big thing for right now. I think don't want to call them side games, but the other major games, like for 2018. I would want, personally for me, I would want a Metroid game and I would want an F-Zero game. And
I'm with you.
And those could be the big titles because I think 2018 for any developer and publisher right now, we really don't know much. Like maybe the next Fire Emblem game is the most anticipated game from Nintendo for 2018. That's as far as we know. So for a company like Nintendo, F-Zero and Metroid will have more marketing, more breathing room, and probably have a better chance of having better sales because now people will be wondering what to get. Oh, I already see now my top 3 games: Fire Emblem, Metroid, F-Zero. Let that lead the pack. So when 2019 comes, then we know what the next games could be that we could look forward to.
Yeah, and I mean, it's not like Nintendo hasn't let Samus be the big holiday lead for him before. You
Yes.
know, back early 2000s, you had Prime and Fusion drop same day and date with each other in November, and it did extremely well for him that way.
Yes.
So I mean, it has the ability to be a benchmark holiday title. Especially with Mario Odyssey being their holiday title this year. They've got to put something solid on the plate for next holiday. And as much as I don't want to wait till next holiday, I've already been waiting anyways. I would be happy to see them put that in the big holiday slot and forced to pump the hell out of it, rather than letting it just wither, as they've been known to do in the past. In addition, I think something like F-Zero could make a great late winter, early, spring title.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can throw in some stuff. And I think, frankly, a great way to do this would be here next month, let's announce Pokemon Stars, and it's coming summer 2018.
Well,
Put that right in the middle of that would be brilliant.
I think, well, yeah, announcing Pokemon Stars or releasing Pokemon Stars, and
Announce it this year,
uh-huh.
Announce it next month, and then release it summer 2018. They can spend a whole year building up to it, and they will still continue to get more and more sales out of Sun and Moon as it draws closer. And then at that point, they should, in theory, have the majority of their supply issues worked out so that when it comes out, there's not, riots in the street because everyone wants Stars but can't get a Switch to play it on.
Yeah, that is true. But then do Stars become, well, Stars will become the travel game for the summer.
Exactly.
For Pokemon.
Exactly. Summer's all about having a solid portable title, and what better is there than fucking Pokemon?
Well, I think they would probably do Pokemon tournament too, or Pokken 2, I should say.
Yeah,
well, that'd be interesting. I mean, because I know Pokemon is. A lot of them come out in the fall. So I think this will probably be a first for them to do it in the summer. I mean, I could see it. I could see it like they push it for E3, like market it well for E3, and then or even it's not do a surprise release, but market it for E3 and just be like, well, we got one more hidden surprise for Pokemon Stars, and then announce something, and then probably release it maybe 2 weeks after E3 or something like that.
Nah, there's no way they're going to do that short of a lead up for Pokemon.
Well, because I think if they do it in the summer, I think something like that, they're going to wait. The Pokemon company, getting all my that's confused. I think the Pokemon company will want to be marketed big and marketed well, and so why not do it for E3? Don't do it. I wouldn't do it before E3 to release the game. I will market it a little bit like one more surprise for it at E3, and then release the game at least maybe the week after E3 or 2 weeks after it. Because they consider still July and August still part of the summer. and a little bit maybe the first or 2 weeks of September, still part of the summer. Because fall doesn't happen until a little bit later in September.
Yeah, but like I said, I think that would be the smart thing to do. Whether or not that's what they actually do is anybody's guess at this point. You know, I'm really curious to see at this point. They've got so much momentum. The question is, do they hammer down on the gas pedal, or do they completely fucking fumble and just muck it up and slam the brakes?
I don't think they're gonna go full in. I think West working now, dropping like game, like having a reasonable steady flow, so that
That's the thing. Announce the continuation of that steady flow.
yeah, I
Show
think
us the
they'll probably
next
have that.
18 months worth of stuff.
I think they will have that because Nintendo Directs in October or November are like the E3s that we look forward to for 2018. Like we look forward to a Nintendo Direct in the fall, and they could go about the 15, 20, or 30 minutes, like wherever they want to go. Like we look forward to that. As Nintendo fans and as gamers, because we know that we're going to get the PlayStation experience in the fall. So, go ahead.
So speaking of Nintendo Direct too, rumor has it that there might be another Direct sneaking out this week. There's been a few indicators and signs showing that we may get one this week, but I'm skeptical just because we are this close to E3. What are they really going to show now that they wouldn't hold for the show next month?
I don't think it's going to be Nintendo Direct this week for us. It's way too early. I think if they do anything, it would be Japan.
So, but like I said, there's signs at the moment that there's something brewing for this week. And if something does come of that, we will make sure we throw down a Warp World episode to cover it for you.
If they do it, it's probably going to be for games that's about to come out. So Street Fighter,
Street Fighter, Arms, maybe Splatoon.
Yeah, and then
I'm hoping Splatoon so that they don't take up a whole lot of E3 time with that. Yeah, since that'll be just around the corner from there, anyways.
And they got a lot of indie games coming out, and some that did get announced that wasn't in last Nintendo Direct.
Yep. Last thing I got is NBA Playgrounds dropping here tomorrow for you guys as you listen to this on Monday. Missing a number of features, actually. Now, from what they've said, though, those features aren't going to be far behind. But out of the gate, though, a number of features such as some of the online multiplayer stuff, 2-on-2 mode, a number of other odds and ends, all missing from the game day one to be released shortly thereafter. So,
and this is across all platforms, right? That's coming out.
Yep.
Okay.
So, I'm bummed to hear this because I was actually looking forward to this. It was one of the rare sports games I was looking forward to. And I'm a little irked that they didn't have the integrity to just shut up and hold the game until they had everything ready to go. I don't see why you release it, seriously. Stall it a couple of days if that's what you need to get the rest of your shit in.
Yes.
But nobody listens to me anyways, so there you have it. That's all I got for the moment. It's been a little on the quiet side this week, aside from, a couple of big drops, but not a lot of the little news in between. I think most of that's all just balling up for next month, so.
Well, I know I read somewhere on Twitter, one of my friends, and Nintendo probably did report it, that instead of the 4-hour map rotate, they're going to do it 2 hours for Splatoon 2.
Okay.
That one, people who are still interested in Golden Week, definitely if you have a PlayStation 4 or PlayStation 3 or even a Vita, do check out those sales. A lot of good games are on sale for that, and if you're a PlayStation Plus, you get a little bit more, so you can save up to 80% on a lot of those games. So check that out. I think, wasn't there something on Switch that came out last week that people should check out, Larry? Or
No, last week was quiet on the front, on the Switch front, actually. There was some stuff that dropped on the Wii U and on the 3DS, but Switch was actually pretty silent last week.
I think Mega Man Legacy 2 was rumored, and that's from the games, I think 7 to 10. No,
It might have
yeah,
been rumored, but there sure as hell isn't anything concrete on it yet. And it
yes,
definitely didn't come out.
right. Because I wonder, because I'm just like, how many games were on the Mega Man Legacy? But it was 1 to 6, right? I think.
That sounds about right.
Because 7 was Super Nintendo, 8 was Saturn and PlayStation,
9 and 10 were
360,
Wii,
PS3, and
360,
Wii.
PS3, yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that's pretty much all I got too. That's what I can see for right now. I know there were some new Nintendo new indie games really announced for Switch, but I didn't write them down for you guys, so I do apologize. I will have them up though. When you guys, by the time you hear this, while you're listening to this episode, they should be up on World 1-1. If not, probably by Tuesday they will be up. Because there's been more news and stuff coming out. I know we were talking about ukulele when it's coming to Switch. People are hoping that the problems get fixed. So
Rumor has it they're working to fix it. We'll see.
But
other thing too, just a minor, since we've talked about it a fair bit on the show in months past. Sweet backwards compatibility update on the Xbox One.
Yes.
Geometry Wars 2 and Geometry Wars 3, the 360 edition of, are now finally backwards compatible on the Xbox One. So you can finally have all 3 Geometry Wars on your Xbox One. Thank Christ, about fucking time.
Yeah, because we've been talking about Geometry Wars for a good while, like a couple of episodes.
So it's a little thing, but it makes me happy. The backwards compatibility is getting better and better.
Yeah, I think that's one thing Microsoft really needs to do throughout this whole summer. If they're not going to release any kind of like big major games, along with some of the indie titles that are coming out for Xbox One and for Slim, backward compatible that mug. They have tons of games on the first system, well, on 360 that they literally can bring out. You know, a couple of months ago, Larry was on my show, and we was talking about XBLA. Those games should be making a return.
Some of them are.
Or even do a new Summer of Arcade for this year. I like that program needs to come
bring
back.
that shit back.
Yes, and
that brought us some of the best stuff ever.
And you could do it almost like what Nintendo did last year for Wii U in September. How they was dropping like Jota, Axiom Verge, some other indie games. Like they were like jumping them, bringing them out every Thursday, and did 10% off on the day it was released. So bam, so like started off with a big major game or whatever for during their Xbox One conference. Release it on that Sunday, and then every Wednesday that XBLA game dropped for some of our arcades. Let that lead up to Cuphead.
Yep.
They could bring out 12 or 14 good games for XBLA. 6 could be from the 360 backwards. 6 of them could be new indie games. Bam.
It should not be that hard, but it makes me wonder if they're struggling to court developers for that.
They shouldn't be.
But
at this point in time, they shouldn't be. I know Scorpio is a big thing, but hey, you got people who want to know why they need to own an Xbox. Let Summer of Arcade, or even Summer of Arcade retro style, let that be the leading factor.
Anyways, Microsoft gave me what I wanted this week at this point, so I'm done talking trash for a little while. They're off my shit list for at least a couple weeks.
I give them.
Unless they do something exceptionally stupid, then you're back on. But as for right now, the lack of anything else, you're off the shit list.
They'll have something. Don't worry.
Like, they've got to pull a Konami level fuckery to get back on the shit list early.
Oh, anyone who pulls that, it's going to take a long time for them to get back. I mean,
shout out to Jim Sterling. Hit the lever.
I mean, Microsoft been through their rough patches. I mean, they got Konami like hard before, when the Xbox One actually came out, and it took a long time for them to get to where they're at now. You know,
yeah.
and regardless of what you guys think of what Konami did to Kojima, you went out and brought Super Bomberman R.
No, I didn't.
You didn't, but some people did, and that is a sign that gave Konami a sign to be like, maybe we messed up, but you guys still support us. Hopefully this is a forgiveness, and this could lead to more retro style games. Because like I've been saying, if Konami returns back to video games and they want to do it right, they gotta get their games back on a Nintendo platform. And even if they're treated as Super Nintendo style, whether it's 2D or it's prettier, small little graphics, they need to get to that. And if it's on Switch at a reasonable price and it's back being fun, that's gonna put Konami back in the sweet spot to be like, this is the Konami that I remember.
That being said, Konami did at least put out some free DLC for Bomberman R, so
yes.
Props to them for at least doing something respectable.
Can I get a Sunset Riders 2? That's what I want. And a Gradius or Axelate 2, something. Well, Gradius have many the mini games. Heck, can I get?
I could totally get behind another Gradius.
Ooh, bring Parodius out, because it never came out to America.
Yeah, we could do that too. Also, not that it was Capcom or Konami, but I also want R-Type back.
Ooh, IRAM. Ooh, what happened?
Tell me how sexy R-Type Final would look like on that nice long wide screen on the Switch.
I would come. I would get another train ticket, and I'm coming down the street. We'll definitely make sure that we go to Eva Check too. I didn't get to get my King Gyros, but we better.
All right.
We still gotta go to the Italian restaurant still, so yeah.
Yeah, that'll be next time too.
Yeah, because I'm like, you gotta give me another controller. We gotta go through R-Type Final. Like, I gotta
find a copy. I haven't had a copy of that in years.
Was PlayStation 2 the last system they put R-Type on?
That, unless you want to count PSP.
Let's just stick with PlayStation 2.
It was the last home console, we'll put it that way.
I need to check into IRAM's category, IRAM games, because I wonder who owned their properties, if they sold them. Yeah, because R-Type needs to make a comeback, dude. It really does.
Yep.
You hear that, Microsoft? Even if you need to steal that from Nintendo, I'm fine with it. Bring a new R-Type out, Summer Arcade. $10. But yeah.
You know, it'd be really cool if we could have like a meshing of some of the companies and their properties on like the vertical shooters.
Yes.
And pull like a Puyo Puyo Tetris switch mode on there where it's 3 different, brands of horizontal shooters or vertical shooters. So we've got like Ikaruga on one.
Yes!
We've got, find me 2 more, and it's on this big cylinder that, that every 30 seconds or so rotates a third. And now you're looking at a screen of another one.
Dude.
So the other 2 in the background are going on autopilot. and you're working on just this one that's in front of you for about 30, 45 seconds, and then it switches off again, and you just keep going round and round, and, hope to God that you survive all the way through.
Ikaruga, 1942, and there was a Namco Bandai one, and I cannot think of it. No, because Thunder Force was horizontal. There's one of them we could find.
I'm thinking that Gradius was horizontal too, wasn't it? It wasn't vertical.
No. Yeah, Gradius was horizontal, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I know there was another vertical one that now escapes me, but there's got to be enough to make it worthwhile.
Yeah.
But, like 3 of them that are very diverse in terms of mechanics, so that, oh, you know what? Put fucking blazing lasers in there.
Yes! Yes!
Make that happen. I need 3 royally diverse, so that like every 45 seconds your brain has to rearrange what the hell it's doing.
Oh, blazing lasers. Oh, that needs to make a comeback with art. Yes! I'm down for that. I'm literally, right now, down for that.
There's your impromptu, here's the pitch. Make that shit happen.
Yes.
So, but that's all I got. Eddie, you got anything else, or are you ready to pimp your shit?
Let me go ahead and pimp. You guys could listen. In the coming weeks, me and Larry was on MVC Video Game Book Club talking about the Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. So you guys can check that out on YouTube at Bojo BOJOXXYXZ. Adrian will get me later about that. But you can check out that page, so you can watch that discussion. You can hear my podcast, Optional Opinion, on SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Play, the Anomalous Radio Network.podbean.com, and other podcast apps, that you have. You can hear World 101 podcast at shoutengine.com, and also you can hear it on iTunes and Google Play. You can follow us on Twitter at World1_1 podcast. You can also email us at world11podcast@gmail.com. And you can follow me on Twitter at ThatRetroCode. And also check out my other podcast that I did with Corey Dirick, Nintendo Power Block on NGR Radio and NGRradio.com. NGR Radio on YouTube and NGRradio.com. I have some writings up there. And, I will be having some reviews on the World 101 Podcast Facebook page. So World 101 Podcast Facebook and World 101 forum page, I believe.
Right on. Like Eddie said, he and I were on with Corey and the gang on NGR this past week. That should be going up today as well, is what he told me. Also, hit up the like the Facebook page, join the conversation on the forums group. We're also on Twitter at World1_1 podcast. Mr. Shifty review going up this week, Mario Kart review going up this week, and depending on how the rest of my week goes, I'm going to try and dig into Puyo Puyo Tetris for a nice, sufficient review as well.
And our contest, is this still going?
Yep, I've still got a few codes left to give away of Axiom Verge. That contest post is up on the Facebook page. I'll make sure I get that reshared out and bumped up to the top again. And I think that's it.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
That's all you got? So everybody, we will see you next time on World 101 Podcast. All right, we are out. Bye.
Good night.